Have you ever noticed how some people can't handle the truth that comes from a deeper place? They can talk about money, drama, or gossip all day. But the moment you speak of energy, intuition, or awakening, you lose them. Their eyes glaze over because they are not ready to hear what you've seen or felt. And that's why the awakened learn a sacred rule: never reveal everything to those who cannot yet understand. Not because you are superior, but because some truths must be protected from noise. The more awake you become, the more you realize your silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the shield that protects your sacred path. The first thing you must never tell to people who aren't spiritually awake is your inner experiences. When your consciousness begins to expand, you start seeing life in a way that cannot be explained with logic. You sense patterns, energies, and signs everywhere. You notice that everything happens with purpose, that coincidences don't exist, and that there is an invisible intelligence guiding every detail of your path. You begin to feel vibrations when you walk into a room. You feel the emotions of others without words. You hear the silence between thoughts, and sometimes you receive insights so clear they shake you from within. But here lies the truth. Most people will not understand this. They live from the surface, not from depth. They look through eyes covered by layers of fear, ego, and distraction. To them, your awakening sounds strange, even threatening, because it challenges their perception of reality. When you share your sacred inner experiences with those who are not ready, they will try to measure them through their limited understanding. They may laugh, roll their eyes, or gently tell you that you're thinking too much. They will try to bring your awareness back to their comfort zone, because your awakening exposes what they have ignored within themselves. That's why the spiritually mature protect their inner journey with silence. They do not need to convince anyone, because truth cannot be argued. It can only be lived. When the flower blooms, it doesn't explain the process of its growth. It simply opens in beauty for those who have the eyes to see. The same law applies to your awakening. There are moments so sacred that they lose power when spoken out loud. Visions that are meant only for you. Messages that arrive in stillness when your soul and the universe are whispering in unison. If you reveal them too early, they become exposed to the noise of opinions, and the purity of the message fades away. The awakened understand that not every experience is meant to be shared. Some things are meant to be protected. Like a seed still under the soil. It needs darkness, silence, and time before it can grow into something unshakable. When you awaken spiritually, you begin to realize that energy responds to intention. When you speak of something sacred in front of those who are not aligned with that vibration, their disbelief can interfere with your energy field. Doubt, judgment, jealousy, these are subtle energies that weaken the spiritual current surrounding your experience. That's why the ancient masters practiced silence after deep realization. They knew that wisdom matures in quietness. The moment you speak too soon, the power of your insight begins to fade. So guard your sacred space. Protect your inner world from unnecessary exposure. Not because you fear others, but because you honor the divine intelligence working through you. When you meet someone who listens not with curiosity but with stillness, who feels your truth instead of questioning it, then share. Those souls are rare, and you will recognize them instantly by the peace you feel in their presence. Until then, keep your experiences within your heart. Let them transform you from the inside until your energy speaks louder than words. Because the greatest proof of awakening is not what you say, it is the peace you carry. It is the calmness in your eyes, the compassion in your voice, the softness in your energy. And when people witness that, they will know, without you having to explain, that something sacred lives within you. The second thing you should never tell to those who aren't spiritually awake is your struggles on the path. When you start awakening, life doesn't suddenly become easier. Often it becomes heavier at first. You begin to see through illusions that once brought you comfort. You realize how much of your old self was built on conditioning, fear, and false beliefs. The mind resists this transformation because it fears losing control. Your soul pulls you one way, while the ego clings to the familiar. The result is an inner storm, a spiritual battle that no one can see but you feel in every breath. You may wake up feeling lost, confused, or detached from people you once connected with. You may question everything, your purpose, your relationships, your existence itself. This is not weakness, it is the purification of consciousness. It is the burning away of everything that is not true. But if you try to explain this deep process to those who are not yet awake, they will not understand. They might tell you you're overthinking or you're just depressed because they can only interpret your spiritual evolution through the lens of the material world. They will try to fix you when you don't need fixing. They will advise you to return to the same patterns you are trying to outgrow, and if you listen, you will slow down your awakening. The spiritually awake learn that solitude is necessary not as punishment, but as protection, because not everyone can handle the fire of your transformation. The unawakened fear what they do not understand, and they will unknowingly try to pull you back to their level of awareness, not out of malice, but out of habit. To them, awakening looks like losing control. They don't see that in truth, it's the beginning of real freedom. That's why the wise walk silently through their darkness. They don't seek sympathy, they seek clarity. They know that some lessons must be faced alone, because only solitude can reveal what companionship hides. In your moments of struggle, you may feel tempted to reach out to others for validation, to explain your pain, hoping they'll understand. But remember this, those who have not yet awakened cannot comfort your spirit because they do not speak its language. They can only offer surface-level advice for what is a deep spiritual wound. When a butterfly is breaking free from its cocoon, no one can help it. If someone tries to, its wings will never develop strength. The same is true for the soul. You must endure your own transformation to learn how to fly. Keep your struggles sacred, not because you need to hide them, but because they are shaping you into something divine. Your pain is your teacher, your doubt is your purification, and your confusion is the dissolving of the false self. It is not something to be explained, it is something to be lived. When you emerge from the fire, people will see the change. They'll ask, "What happened to you? You seem different, peaceful," and you will smile because you'll know the truth. You went through darkness and found your light. The awakened do not boast about their struggle. They let their silence tell the story. The real transformation does not make you louder. It makes you calmer, stronger, and more rooted in truth. So when you walk through your pain, walk with dignity. Do not announce your healing, embody it. And when the time comes, your presence will speak louder than any words could ever explain. The third thing you should never tell to people who aren't spiritually awake is your spiritual experiences. Because when you begin to awaken, there will come moments that are impossible to explain with logic. Moments when the veil between worlds feels thin, when your intuition speaks louder than your mind, when you sense energies before they manifest in form. You might start noticing patterns, numbers repeating, synchronicities unfolding perfectly as if the universe itself is communicating with you. You might feel an unseen presence guiding you, protecting you, or warning you before something happens. And if you share these sacred experiences with those who are still asleep, they will dismiss them, judge them, or worse, make you doubt what you already know to be true. Spiritually unawakened people live in a world that demands proof. They only believe in what they can touch, see, or measure. They have built their reality on the five senses, and so when you speak of intuition, energy, or divine signs, they cannot receive it. It threatens the foundation of how they perceive the world, so they will label your awakening as imagination, coincidence, or superstition. They will reduce the sacred to something explainable because it makes them feel safe. And if you are not grounded in your own awareness, their disbelief can shake you. It can make you question your truth and silence your connection to the divine. That is why the awakened learn to protect their sacred experiences. They know that not every vision is meant to be shared. Not every revelation is meant to be spoken aloud. Because the moment you share it with the wrong mind, it loses some of its power. It becomes subject to the noise of opinions, logic, and disbelief. The divine speaks in silence, and silence is the language of those who have learned to listen deeply. You cannot expect someone who lives in noise to hear what silence reveals. Many spiritual masters throughout history walked this same path in solitude. They experienced visions, insights, and guidance far beyond understanding, but they did not shout it to the world. They embodied it through their actions, through their peace, through their presence. They knew that true wisdom does not need validation because it shines through vibration, not explanation. You too must learn this. When the universe shows you something profound, when you feel the presence of your ancestors, when your intuition saves you from harm, when your meditation opens your heart, bow in gratitude but stay silent, not out of fear but out of reverence. You are being trusted with something most cannot yet comprehend. A spiritual experience is not entertainment, it is initiation. It is the soul's way of saying you are ready to see more. But just because you see doesn't mean everyone else does. You must protect your sight, not flaunt it. To those who are not ready, light looks like madness. And so, the awakened remain humble. They do not try to convince others of the unseen. They live in such a way that others feel it. They let their energy prove what words cannot. Because in truth, those who are meant to understand will feel your vibration long before they hear your story. The divine does not need your defense, it needs your devotion. And so, the wise keep their sacred moments in their heart like hidden jewels, silent, shining, and untouchable by the world's doubt. The fourth thing you should never tell to people who aren't spiritually awake is your visions for the future and divine guidance. When you begin walking the spiritual path, you will notice that your intuition sharpens. You start receiving clear inner messages about what you are meant to do, where you are meant to go, and who you are meant to become. Your dreams become vivid, your instincts become louder, and synchronicities begin aligning to show you the next step. But here is where many lose their strength. They share these divine whispers with people who cannot yet hear the same frequency. And what happens? They are met with disbelief, doubt, and fear. When a spiritually unawakened person hears you speak about your calling, they will look at it through the eyes of limitation. They will measure your vision using logic, statistics, and social norms. They will say, "Be realistic, that's impossible," or "You're dreaming too big." They don't mean harm, they simply cannot see what you see. Their mind is still rooted in the material world, while yours has started to touch the unseen. And if you are not grounded in your inner knowing, their doubt can infect your faith. It can cause you to second-guess what your soul already knows is true. That is why the awakened walk silently when guided by spirit. They act, they move, they create, but they do not announce. When divine instruction comes, it often doesn't make sense at first. The path the universe gives you is not always logical. It is aligned. The world might not understand why you are being called to leave a job, a relationship, or a certain place. But your soul knows. And if you speak of it too soon, you risk exposing a seed that has not yet grown roots. People may trample it with their skepticism before it has the strength to rise. That is why the wise nurture their visions in silence. They protect them from external energy because words carry vibration and not every vibration supports your destiny. Understand this. When you share your spiritual guidance with those who do not walk the path, they will respond based on fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. And fear can sound convincing when spoken by those you love. But fear is not wisdom. It is the voice of comfort, resisting change. And so, the awakened do not seek validation from others. They seek confirmation from within. They sit in meditation. They watch for signs, they trust the flow. Because the universe does not shout, it whispers. And if you keep running to others for approval, you will drown out the whisper that is meant only for you. Every sacred calling has its season. There is a time to receive, a time to build, and a time to reveal. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to show it to others. You cover it, you water it, and you let it grow unseen. That's how your divine vision must be treated too. Protect it with prayer, feed it with action, and wait until it blooms naturally. Before it is time, keep it between you and the source that gave it to you. Because what is divine needs space to breathe. The spiritually awake understand that not everyone will understand their purpose, and that's okay. It's not their job to convince anyone. It's their job to walk the path faithfully step by step in alignment with the higher plan. When you trust your inner guidance silently, you invite miracles. When you speak too soon, you invite interference. Remember, energy flows where attention goes, so give your energy to faith, not fear. Trust that those who are meant to see your light will see it when it's time. And when they do, your results will speak louder than any explanation ever could. That is the way of the awakened, to move in silence with peace, with purpose, and with the quiet confidence that divine timing never fails.